season preview. I'm joined by a lot of people tonight. Ola, how you doing? Hello.
Hello?
Hello? Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you now. I couldn't hear you. I couldn't hear you before. I can hear you now. So what's happening, people? And Ryan, thanks for inviting us on the show. Yeah.
No problem. I've got a lot of work on my hand tonight, for the looks of it.
Yeah, you do.
Then we've got Colin from Much Arse, who's a bit of a regular at the moment. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm alright. I'm a bit pissed off at the fans biting at the media shit, but
we'll get into that in a minute.
We'll get into that. I'm in rant mode, bitches. Trust.
And then we've got James, again another regular. How you doing, James?
I'm fine. How are you all?
All good.
Yeah, I'm good, man.
All good, man.
All good, ready to go.
And then obviously we've got Kenny Ken. Debut on my channel. How are you?
I'm all good. Like I said, looking forward to the football season. I had a great break from Twitter. I enjoyed the World Cup a lot more than I did. I was, like I said, there was a lot of shocks. The national side got to semis. Like I said, France murdered Croatia, and I had a nice holiday. And the football season came back probably too quickly for my liking, but let's enjoy it.
First of all, we've got Sam.
Hello, everybody.
How you doing, Sam?
It's going to be a good show tonight, I guess, and lots to talk about.
Oh, yeah, just a bit, especially after today. And the
Hey,
meltdown
Sam.
that has been asked.
Sam, don't be acting like a good you on the show now, yeah? I see how you go mad on your Snapchat, you know. I see you whiling on your Snapchat. So don't be acting all goody right now, Bridget. I know what you're about, fam.
Professional sometimes.
Right, let's get right. And Congress basically put a bid in for all shares. The rest the fans. What is everyone's feelings on this? I've got to admit, at first I was a bit head in my hands. I was like, "Oh, for crying out loud, no!" The worst thing, the timing itself is with the worst time. But then I've had the whole day to think about it. No matter come Sunday, we've got to put this to the side and just get beyond our new manager and the players. We can't let him ruin and fuck us over before the season. Do you guys think no?
To be honest, it's more. Do you know what? I was thinking about this earlier, and my first thought was, is he is he a good owner? No. But then I got to thinking, what if this is all for his son, Josh? Because let's be real, right? If we were, because the reports were that he's taken out a loan. Since when does Stan Kroenke need a loan for anything? The guy is worth billions, but all of a sudden he needs a loan.
Oh, yeah, billionaire.
That doesn't add up in any way, shape, or form. So right then and there, that kind of says to me that he could be doing it for his son. However, from what I've seen on social media today, and this is where rant mode will resume, I find it funny that this gets put out today. The fans jump on it because all of us on the show tonight, we all know Arsenal fans live on social media. Let's be real about it. When it comes to Twitter and stuff, Arsenal fans run that show. We do. However, what pisses me off about Arsenal fans in particular, and I know I'm going to upset some people with this, but I really don't care. We are the easiest fan base to rile up. Easiest. Because as soon as something, even a slight, like just a tad bit negative comes out, Arsenal fans jump on it and they'll just be like, "Oh, this is bullshit. How could they do this and this and that?" And as far as the whole bid goes, it's coincidental that the media have put this out today of all days, and the fan base have jumped on it. And like the puppets that this fan base are, yes, you heard me right, puppets, right? They've jumped on it. They've bought into the media's trap, hook, line, and sinker. And don't get me wrong, I'm not defending Stan Kroenke in any way, shape, or form. I would never do such a thing. However, you can't say that Arsenal fans have not jumped on this and overreacted, because they have. Our focus should solely be Sunday. No ifs, ands, buts, or maybes. That should be our focus. If it's not, piss off. Simple as that.
I think a lot of people, before they tweet, don't really think before they open their mouth. As regards to my opinion, I ask what Kroenke wants from all this. Has he come to Arsenal for us to win, or has he come to us to make money? I think it's the second option. When I started supporting the club 30 odd years ago, I know times have changed, fellas, but you never heard a peep out of our board. You never heard nothing. And because they were all competent, knowing what they were doing, keeping it in-house, and now it's all out in the open. But to take a loan out of 557 million, Colin makes a very good point. Since when does he need a loan? But 557 million, and to have the club as potential collateral, and we all know how our business people can work, it's a bit worrying for the future. But I agree with Colin. We've got to focus on a new era that's coming. There's people in that stadium on Sunday that have never ever seen a different Arsenal manager. They've only ever known Arsene Wenger. So there's people in that stadium on Sunday where everything's going to be new for them. And I hope that everybody embraces it and gets behind the team and sings their hearts out for 90 minutes. Because some of fans have been waiting for this for years, because to have a manager in charge for 22 years that's had so much power and so much say, it's not healthy. So we've broken away from that, and this is a new era for us all. I hope all the fans get behind us, and I actually think we're going to surprise them. This isn't the City in full flow, middle of the season. This isn't the City going for a title. This is a opening day City, and we can do them. I don't think we're going to run away with them. I think we're going to beat them 2-1. But everybody's got to believe on Sunday.
No, James, you're 100% right. I think the thing with what's happened, this has been in the pipeline for quite a while, because, like I said, it's obvious from day one since Usmanov has got his shares that there's been a complete opposition to him in having any say in the club. I mean, the guy's got 30% of the shares, yet he can't get a seat on the board. And I think there's a view in Arsenal that his money's dirty. And I think what the situation is, what Arsenal don't want is a situation that could have happened at Spurs with Robert Maxwell. We all know what happened with Robert Maxwell in terms of it was between him and Alan Sugar to buy Tottenham Hotspur, and Tottenham Hotspur got kind of lucky that Robert Maxwell didn't get control of the club, because we now know where Robert Maxwell's money's come from. And there's always a bit of a suspicion with Usmanov, as well as the same situation with Abramovich. And I think that is why Usmanov has admitted defeat. There was no way on earth that anyone at the football club was going to be behind Usmanov. I think what it is there's a big, massive myth at Arsenal that everyone regarding the club are behind Usmanov. They're not. There's a lot of fans who have suspicion. I'm not one of them. I'm attracted to the fact that he wants to spend a lot of money, but that's just words. We don't know what Usmanov would have done with the club, but we know now that he's admitted defeat and he's probably going to invest in Everton. But that was always going to happen, and in terms of what you said, James, I think that Stan's using Arsenal Football Club as collateral for his businesses in America because, again, the Premier League is one of the most global brands in world football. In terms of it's very marketable. It's marketable in America now. It's marketable in Asia, in Australia, all over the world. So for Stan Kroenke to use the fact that I am the totalitarian owner of Arsenal Football Club, that's good kudos in terms of getting collateral for any of his businesses in the United States. So I can understand why he's done it from a business point of view. But in terms of him spending money, it's highly unlikely he's going to do that. He's going to hope that the club, gets back in the Champions League and it funds itself.
So I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate here because I like doing that shit. So we've heard from the horse's mouth that he didn't invest in this club to win trophies, right? This guy has done questionable stuff by going on some lion shooting, some game shooting, and posted it on the big TV network that could put the club in bad reputation. And this is with shareholders on the board that can actually reprimand him and question him and challenge him while he's still got a certain share of the board. So imagine now he's got full control of the board, or if he then goes forward and get full control of the board, the type of stuff he'll do. That's the second part. The third part is it's not so much loaning against the club, but it's siphoning money into other ventures without open books. They could cook the books without anybody knowing or being able to question anything about it. That's the third thing. Now, the fourth and final one is the fact that this guy, where everybody keeps saying we're paying the highest ticket prices in the land, and we've been the news breaking today that Usmanov is gonna be selling the shares. That didn't just happen today. That would have been brewing for some months. Maybe that's probably why what's his name is jumping ship, Gazidis, and not wanting to be a part of what's going on. It could be a very good reason why he's actually jumping the ship. And if that's happening, we're getting £50 million budget for the new manager. If you're going to pull off a big deal like that, then back the new manager so you get the fans on side going into the new season, so everybody's feeling positive about this buy. But you've only given the manager £50 million to go into the new season, having put all the new team that we have behind us, and you prepare to spend 600 million on 30% share of Usmanov's share. Why aren't you backing the club? Why are you backing the manager going into the new season if you really have big ambitions for the club? So you can see why certain fans are overreacting. I've not been on Twitter today. I've seen what everybody's been posting. I've not really overreacted to it, but I can kind of see where certain people are coming from and why. I wouldn't even say it's a knee jerk. It's just so many years of dealing with the same bullshit for so long, and now it's coming to a close. It'll be a positive thing if Josh was to eventually take over. I hope maybe that's the long-term plan, and you know, because he's more interested in the actual football of the club than the business side of it. But Wenger has already came out and spoke on behalf of this guy, saying we're not a football club, we're a business. We are a business, whether you like it or not. That's what we are. We're a business. So, and we're being run as such. Let's face it, it's the cold hard truth. We are being run as such. We're a business. So when you look at it in cold light of day, now that Wenger's gone, there's no shield for Gazidis. There's no shield for Usmanov. There's no shield for nobody on the board. Now Kroenke is going to buy out the shares, and it won't need any shield anymore because it won't be answerable to nobody. And that's the road we're going on. So you better strap on your seatbelts. It's going to be a long 10 years. I'm telling you now. We thought the last 10, 12 years was bad. It's going to be a long next 10 years with Kroenke in what he's dealing with now. So that's the look that I'm taking on it.
I don't think it's going to be as bad as people think, Colin. I really don't.
And sorry to cut you there, Colin. People saying Usmano's money is dirty, as you alluded to earlier on, or people kind of think it might have connections to dirty money. There's nobody in all of them world riches. The Sultans, the Ukrainians, the Russians, that ain't got dirty money on their hands. The African guy from Nigeria, don't tell me his money is fucking clean. He ain't sold his money. He ain't got his money buying chicken and selling Kentucky. No, that's these people. They have to get their hands. They have to get their hands dirty.
But Ola, one thing about it is that you got to remember that we all support a club, a very conservative club, as James alluded to the extent that,
of course,
Arsenal Football Club has always built itself on reputation, and reputation only. And one of the things Arsenal Football Club will not do, countenance, is selling to Usmanov if they have an inkling that he's going to, his involvement in the ball is going to harm the reputation of the football club. That's how Arsenal are. In terms of the money that Kroenke spends and what he isn't going to spend, welcome to Arsenal. And in the 40 years, I've supported the club for over 40 years. In the 40 years I've supported Arsenal, I can tell you right now, Arsenal Football Club has always had a reputation of being penny pinching. We were penny pinching under Hillwoods, and we're going to continue to be that. We've always seen ourselves as the Bank of England club that likes to do things the right way, and the right way isn't spending the money that Roman Abramovich is spending or Sheikh Mansour's playing at Man City. It's just not the Arsenal way, and I think that's why that was the culture of the club when they actually sold to Stan, because Stan said the right things. I'm not here to win trophy. He bought into that framework, and there's a lot of people at Arsenal Football Club and shareholders who are more than happy for Stan to take over. They continue that tradition, and I think that's the crux of the problem.
You got to move with the times, though, Kenny. You got to move with the times, and if we're going to be having less budgets going forward, then our scouting has got to improve.
Yeah, definitely.
That's the reason we got missing time.
If you think of all the resources that professional clubs have now in terms of scouting and resources they have to go and watch players all over the world, we have to do an awful lot better in finding players a lot earlier than we actually do and reacting quicker. Like in the case of Griezmann. Griezmann was at Sociedad. He was fantastic at Sociedad. You know, in theory, we should have gone in for a player like him, but he ended up going to Atletico, and now he's
Eden Hazard. How long were we watching Eden Hazard? How long were you watching Eden Hazard, James?
For a long time before Chelsea snapped him up.
Yeah, and yet we've done Mata as well. We're watching. We should have got Cavola a year before we got him. So it's not as if we were watching these players, but the trouble is that we refuse to go into auctions with our rivals, i.e. Chelsea and Man United and Man City now, and that has been the crux of the problem. And I think nothing will change. But in terms of what you said, James, Arsenal moving the times, you and I know under George Graham, like I said, one of the bugbears of a lot of our players is that players weren't getting the salaries that that Jack Walker was playing at Blackburn. And even at what they're playing at Man United. So we were losing out on players. And then when the club realised they need to compete, we got players like the Dennis Bergkamps of the world. And then again, we stagnated, and then we started losing players hand over fist to our rivals. So what we're doing now is that paying someone like Mesut Ozil £300,000 a week is only doing what clubs were doing 3 or 4 years ago.
We've fallen behind massively. Like, in my opinion, we have fallen behind massively, and now, I hope it is, this is the way forward for us. Hopefully it is a way forward for us. But with all the clunky stuff going on, at the end of the day, this is the board for you. We were all going after Wenger. Don't tell me that no Arsenal fan was ever going after Wenger with what was going on in the board. But now, Wenger's gone, the board is exposed. The board is exposed. So if they don't do what we want, most fans are going to go after the board. But even though the board, like Kroenke, is a very arrogant person, he won't listen to us. At the end of the day, I'm sure with what we did last season, what some of the fans did without turning up to games, but not buying shirts, all this, that, and the other, it did have a impact on Kroenke's back pocket. You got to remember that. And the thing that worries me the most is that we all know there's no secret we're gonna go with Adidas next season, right? And with them, they're paying us the top dollars. So imagine some of the top dollars that Adidas pay us, right? It should be used for transfer funding. What if it goes to Kroenke's back pocket? And with me, I'm not convinced with Stan Kroenke at all. With the way Kroenke does things, it really upsets me. He bought a ranch the size of Birmingham in Texas, £757 million. Him and his wife are known in America for being big, for being big name people with money in their back pockets. And at the end of the day, if he doesn't do what we want, no one's going to be happy. And with me, like Colin said earlier, I'm focused on the Premier League this season because with Wenger gone now, could it be finally our time? We've been waiting 14 years for this. And for me, last time I saw us win the Premier League, I was only 6. And with me, I've always wanted to see us win the Premier League again. Either win the Premier League, win the Champions League. That's my goal. I just want to see us go forward. That's why I'm wanting Wenger, I'm wanting changes, I'm wanting a lot of this because I want to see it successful. Because Chelsea won the Champions League 2012. They're the first London club to win it. I wanted us to be the first London club to win that.
Same here.
The only thing I would say to that, Sam, right, and again, I don't want people to misconstrue what I'm saying here. I'm not defending Kroenke by any stretch of the imagination.
Oh, no. I don't think you are.
I never would, okay? But like Kenny's pointed out, we've never really spent a load of money like over the years. Like, take this year, for instance. What we've done this year, I would call it a decent window. It's not been a perfect window, but it's been a decent window. And the reason I say that is because we've strengthened in positions that we needed to strengthen anyway. Like, we bought a right back in Lichtsteiner. We bought a midfielder, well, not an out-and-out defensive midfielder, but one that can do a job in Torreira. We've bought Guendouzi, who most likely is knocking on the door of the first team now. We've bought Socrates. There's another one I'm forgetting who. Leno, that's the one. But again, it's not really down to like the money aspect. And I know people are going to jump on that and say, "Oh, how is it not about the money?" That's a ridiculous statement. No, it's not, because again, we've never spent a load of money. We've always been meticulous in the way we go about it. Like, every time you look at it further down the years, again, we've never spent a load of money. Like, for me, the fan base are overreacting to this. They really are. If we did well in the Premier League this season, which I believe we will, I believe we'll get into the top 4 this year. There's no doubt in my mind. All right? If we did that and we won a trophy on the end of that as well, possibly the FA Cup, Europa League as well, will the fans be unhappy? No.
No, it's a massive progress from where we are.
No. And if they do moan about that, they're miserable cunts.
Yeah, I agree with that. At the end of the day, I would love to see us win the Europa League. If we get top 4 in Europa League, that's success in my eyes, no matter what, because we've not won a European trophy for I don't know for how long.
25. 25 years, Sam.
We've not won a European trophy for 25 years. And to win the Europa League, right, honestly, right, as much as it might be an unpopular opinion, I would take that over winning the Prem this season. I don't care. If we finish outside the top 6 and we win the Europa League, top 4 and we win the Europa League, I'll be happy. I don't care.
We're not winning the league anyway, Sam. We're nowhere near winning the league, man.
Well, the thing is, the top 4 is going to be a hard act to follow as well, in my opinion. I think that we're completely behind the 8 ball. It's like, in terms of the squads that we have to compete with, Liverpool have spent in key areas. And like I said, in terms of like where the areas that Liverpool weaken, midfield, defensive midfield, and in goal, they've spent in those areas. Man City are strong. Then, like I said, they're bringing a young Foden through, and they've got players to come through. Chelsea will always spend money because that's Chelsea, and then you've got Spurs, who people say, well, they haven't spent any money, but if you look at the what Spurs have got, it isn't exactly broken for them to fix it. Yes, there's situations with Danny Rose in terms of he wanted to leave.
They've actually got continuity, Kenny.
Exactly, but if you look at it, Danny Rose, they've got Ben Davies there to replace him anyway. And then if you look at Alderweireld, Davison Sanchez is there. So in terms of that, we are completely and utterly behind the 8 ball in terms of qualifying for the top 4 itself. Another thing I'm going to say to you guys, well, because I've got to go in a few minutes. Sorry about it. One thing you've got to realise, guys, is that to qualify just for even a top 4, you need 15 goals or more from about 3 or 4 players. We just don't have that. You look at Aubameyang, you look at Lacazette. Yeah, that's 2 players, but are they going to be playing every game? Not sure. Where's the goals going to come from midfield? You look at Spurs. When Spurs finished second, Song, Eriksen, Ali, and Harry Kane scored 15 goals, 15 or more league goals, and that made them finish second. You look at Man City, Sterling, Aguero, Sane, all amongst the goals. Liverpool speaks for itself. I don't see that at Arsenal unless, like I said, Unai Emery, like I said, gets goals out of players like the Mesut Ozil and Mkhitaryan. We're going to be on the
only thing we had was Monreal. That's all we had.
Yeah, and that's the thing. But that is the barometer to get into the top 4 and challenge the title and even win it. You have to have goals from all over the team. You can't just say, right, we've got Lacazette and Aubameyang, but it's not enough. It really is not enough. Man United. The only reason why Man United got away with it because they considered less goals. The same of us, we considered 73 goals in 60 games, the worst out of the top 6. So again, those issues. We'll look at the set pieces, and basically, what we do at the ball. We're not at the woods yet.
Far from it.
I mean,
But it's like when Pep took over, his philosophy and his ideas and the players he wanted in place for what happened last season. So any Arsenal fan now that thinks he's going to come in and snap his fingers, it's all going to be okay and off we go. I want to know what they're smoking.
It's a bit naive to think that, he's got to assess his squad. He's coming in from outside. He's got to assess his squad. I agree with Sam that Europa League is a lot more feasible. But you've got to remember last year we lost to Ostersund, we lost to Cologne. I'm a bit wary of people saying or giving the example that we can just put the kids out in the Europa League. You've got to respect every single opponent in the Europa League. Some people have turned their noses up and said, "Oh, it's not Champions League football. I don't want to know." But it's a European competition. We haven't won one for 25 years. It's a great opportunity. We had a great opportunity last season.
As well, James, it's a pathway to the Champions League if top 4 is out of our reach as well.
Exactly.
Finally, some people understand.
Yeah, but the thing is, you look at last season, the top 4, it was clear after we lost to Spurs at Wembley last year, the top 4 was out of their reach. That was the 10th of February. Once that became mightily obvious, that is when crowds started staying away. A lot of it, people say it's because of Wenger, but I think what it was is that we lost to Nottingham Forest in the FA Cup. We got hammered by Man City, humiliated, not just in the cup final but in the league a few days later. So again, what was happening is there was a great deal of apathy, and that probably was the end of Arsene as Arsenal manager, because I think what was happening is that it was. I don't think people even had the strength to actually call for him to be replaced anymore. It was like, oh yeah, you know what, just have your own way, and we just had to put up with you for 1 year. And I think because we went out of the Europa League, we were in the Europa League for the second year running. I'm afraid that forced Stan's hand, that he couldn't protect Arsenal any longer, because Arsenal became a financial liability. Although, had they been doing their maths, they would have realised he was a financial liability for quite a while.
It's not just that as well. Like if you think about it, when it comes to Wenger, the top 4 legs was out of our reach. I'm in the Europe for the second year running, and it was the fact as well that fans would stop turning up to the games. Like when I went to watch us play Watford and we beat 3-0, there was loads of empty seats. when they played Stoke at home as well. Loads of empty seats. The whole game had loads of empty seats.
Yeah, but if you look at all those games, a lot of those games were on TV, so they were excused. But you look at the Man City game. Man City is a massive game, and then if you look at, because we lost the League Cup final, the Emirates Stadium was embarrassing. It was embarrassing the amount of people were there. I was there. But people said, "Oh, it was too cold." One guy said, "Oh yeah, my knees. I've got a sore knee, so the cold weather's not good for my knee." One guy had a toothache who couldn't make it. So it's one of those things. You know what I mean?
I think it comes down to personal choice as well, and how much do you want to go? I mean, if you think of the world game now, everybody comes from everywhere. You know, I myself, I have to get every home game is an away day for me. You know,
whereabouts are you based?
I'm based in Amsterdam, Kenny.
Well, yeah, of course, yeah, and that's the thing. It's the thing, and that's the thing about our diaspora. Our diaspora is all over the world, and that's one of the things is that you have to respect someone's supporter's experience. All this nonsense that I used to hear, "Oh, you don't go, so how can you have opinions?" It's complete rubbish, nonsense. You know what I mean?
But I think it's just people not thinking before they open their mouth. I mean, you get most away fans singing "We support our local team," when people are coming from everywhere. But are you not allowed to move in life then? You're not allowed to move from one place to another.
I travel from Birmingham if I want to go watch Arsenal play.
Anyway, guys, sorry about this. So I'm gonna have to love you and leave you, but I want to say thanks for having me on.
Nice to speak to you.
That's all right. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
So, also I've had a question from Ali D in the chat, basically asking about Aaron Ramsey, basically, in the situation there. Asking, did he know in advance this was coming, and this is why he's holding off signing a new contract? And would that have an effect?
I don't think the players would have known a thing about it. I really don't. The thing is, right, with this whole, Kroenke thing, this would have been in the works for months. And the players wouldn't have been told anything at that point because, they would have been, it would have just taken away from the performances anyway. Like, why would you tell the players anything? As far as Aaron Ramsey holding off his contract negotiations and whatnot, look, I don't think it's got anything to do with this situation. I think the two are separate. I really do.
I agree. I think these things are not done right at the last minute. But this saga dragging on is he going to sign? Is he not going to sign? Is he going to be sold? It doesn't do the player any good, and it also doesn't do the club any good. I'm sure Ramsey has known for quite some time what he's going to do, so he could help himself, and more importantly, he could help the club by being honest. I can imagine as well, a player playing at a club for 10 years, you might fancy a change. Change is as good as a rest, perhaps. But dragging it out in this instance with 2 days before the window of our club, it doesn't do anybody any favours.
James, whilst I agree with you, we have to also understand that Ramsey's got an agent. Now, his agent ain't no friend of the Arsenal. His agent ain't no friend of the club. His agent only has Ramsey's interest and his own interest at heart. And there's a bit of brickmanship going on. And he wants to get the best deal for his clients and also get that nice signing on fee as an agent, the agent fees, if he can get it. And I think that's where all of this is going. And that's why it's taking this long. Because if they look at what Mesut Ozil did, they'll think maybe that's not a bad way to go. Let's drag it out. Let's long it out. Let's wait it out. We might sign on the last day of his contract. They might put a smoke screen up in January, pretending to talk to other clubs just to force Arsenal's hands. We don't know what their long game is. We don't know what. And the worst thing is this: Arsenal are actually powerless in this situation, because they could say to Ramsey, okay, we'll put you up for sale. And Ramsey could say, you can put me up for sale, agree the deal with the club, but if I don't agree personal terms, the deal falls through. I don't have to go. I'll wait it out. So Ramsey, whichever way you look at it, is in a position of power. His agent knows it, and they are playing they're playing the game right. And he's only looking out for the interest of. Look, I was pissed off with this whole Ramsey situation, and I had to take a second look at it. That okay, what if you was the actual footballer? You know, what if it was you in this situation in your workplace? You'd want to get the best deal for yourself and your family and whatever else that you got going on. So I can see from both sides of the deal, but at this point in time, Ramsey's got all the power, and you know, I think this is probably going to be the last time that we're going to have to deal with this situation with players running their contracts down and whatnot. So we just have to bite the bullet on this one and take it on the chin.
Do you know what, Ola? This is where
being the last time. You're right.
This is where I lay blame at the previous manager and a certain person called Dick Law.
Absolutely.
Right. This is where I lay blame at them, because they're part of the reason why all this is going on. Why do you think it seems to the uneducated that Arsenal are skint? It's not difficult to understand. I don't believe for a second that we have no money. All right? We do. It's the wages that is holding us back. That's what's holding us back. You got Lucas Perez on 90k a week and he rarely gets a game. Does that make sense to any one of us? No. You've got, Danny Welbeck, I don't know how much he's on. I'm assuming it's way too much for a player of his level. Ospina, God knows what he's on. That's part of the problem. We've got bang average players on ridiculous wages. That's what's holding us back. Don't tell me that Arsenal can't afford Vida for £18 million. Of course we can. Of course we can. That's peanuts to us. The stumbling block would be the wages.
Whilst I agree with you, Colin.
You look back, look at Coventry go.
Colin.
Yeah, go on, man.
Yeah, whilst I agree with everything you just said. I mean, you were saying this on your show with Tops and Tom the last time, and you know, it's the wages that we've got all these players on, but then there's got to be a way that we can get top dollar for the players that we're trying to ship out. There's got to be a way. I mean, selling Lucas Perez for 4.5 million, we're taking a 40 million pound hit on that. They're talking about Ospina going for 2 million and stuff like that. And I'm thinking to myself, I just saw on TV earlier on that Jay Rodriguez that got riddled with injuries at Southampton went to West Brom, didn't really do a lot for them. It's not going to Burnley for 18 million pounds. 18 fucking million. How the hell?
English players are.
How the fuck does that happen?
The thing is, I'll tell you what, right? That is down to English players being overhyped, Ola. That's what that is. Right?
Yeah, but would we get 18 million for Welbeck?
No.
Who's on the same type of age, the same type of player?
That helps.
No, but again, it all comes down to the ridiculous wages that these players are on. Ola. Like I've said here, I don't believe for even a minute that West Ham are going to put Lucas Perez on 90k a week. They won't.
They'll probably put him on between 50 and 60.
Exactly. Exactly. He'll be taking a pay cut at West Ham. Right? That's a fact, believe it or not. Welbeck, if he goes, and from what has been reported the last couple of minutes or like half an hour or whatever it is, Emery has told Welbeck and El Neni they can go. Right? Will Welbeck get them whatever money Welbeck's on? I don't know the exact figure, but is Welbeck going to get the same wages at another club that he does at Arsenal? No. No. Is Elneny going to get the same wages at another club that he gets at Arsenal? No. No. So it all comes back to the wages of the matter. That's what's holding us back. Not
that's why these players aren't looking to go anywhere, because they're not going to go somewhere else and take a pay cut. Not every player is gonna. Yeah, not every player is going to take a pay cut. They got a year and a bit left on their contracts. Like Jenkinson, he'll wait it out. Why am I going to go somewhere else and take a pay cut if Arsenal are being Santa Claus, paying me big dollar every week to have a wicked lifestyle? Yeah. So they're not going to go anywhere.
How Jenkinson still at this club, I don't understand.
He's still here. He's still here.
People talking about, Ozil nicking a living a while back. Fucking hell, Jenkinson's looking like the fucking Grim Reaper in this bitch.
We can only hope that we learn from this going forward. We can only hope that there's ruthlessness when offering contracts, not just in terms of wages, but also in terms of contract length. You don't necessarily have to give someone 5 years. Offer them 2 and see how they get on. If they're not what we think they're going to be, then ship them out.
James,
having them on you've just doesn't help neither.
James, you've just hit the nail on the head right there. You hit the bullseye on that one, because the one thing that I probably as much as I'm happy with the Aubameyang signing, the one thing that I still find it hard to get over. This is a really difficult one. There's days when I'm sat down there working, driving my van across the country, and I'm just sitting down there thinking to myself, how the fuck did this happen? Where we sold Szczesny to Juventus for £10 fucking million, but Alisson, who was behind Szczesny in that season where Szczesny had a fantastic season at Roma, he's just been sold for £70 million plus to Liverpool. And now Atletico Bilbao's keeper, his 71. Name is Keeper, 71. How the hell have we? Why couldn't we sit Szczesny down and say, listen, sign an extended piece of contract, we'll loan you to Juventus, and if they still really want you, they will sell you for big money with contract behind you. Yeah. We didn't do that. We sold him for £10 fucking million.
I'll tell you why we didn't do that, right? Because at the time, we had a fucking idiot in charge of our negotiations in Dick Law. That's why. Who
raised these guys? Who raised them? Who? I mean, I find it difficult to deal with. Sometimes on daily, it really drives me nuts, and it's one of the things that I'm not going to. Despite the new era and the new management and the new coaches and the new team, it's just seeing Szczesny over there and the price we sold him for, and now we're buying Leno, we've got Ospina, we've got Czech, and I'm thinking to myself, look at the climate of goalkeepers now. Goalkeepers are selling way more than they're selling strikers in this current market, and we couldn't foresee that. Nobody in our team could actually see that, look into the future. This is what we used to be really good at. We used to look into the future and know what's going to happen in 2, 3, 4 years, and we're ahead of the curve. And now we're way behind the curve, way behind it, and it's going to take a number of years to catch up with all these other clubs that's left us behind.
Yeah, and that's why I'm happy we've got Sven and Raul on board as well, because that would be part of their job description. Like, I mean, it's not their fault that we're having to take cuts on these players, because realistically, right, who's going to want to pay more than $3 million for David Ospina?
Nobody.
Realistically, right?
We couldn't even give him away for Christmas. Level. We couldn't even give him away for Christmas right now.
Yeah. We couldn't even fucking wrap him in a fucking. We couldn't even gift wrap him.
Oh my god.
You can only hope that we learn from this going forward in terms of being ruthless. as you say, Colin, Ben, and they've got experience in this. They know what they're doing, and they're also as well. One important point before I go, they want to do well behind the scenes. They haven't come to Arsenal to mess around. They want to do well, and they've made good solid signings so far. And I think with the ruthlessness of Emery, if he wants to ship a player out, he's going to ship him out. It'll give him a fair chance, which is what we all want. But if someone isn't good enough or not cutting the mustard, then there's the door. Fellas, it's been fantastic to speak to you all. We're an hour ahead here in the Netherlands, so I'm going to have to
James, it's nice to meet you, man.
It's
So,
nice to
James,
speak
man.
as well. And enjoy Sunday.
Thanks, James.
And I think we'll get a positive result and speak to you all soon. And up the Arsenal.
The Arsenal,
Damn
my
right.
friend.
2-1,
Yeah.
bitch.
See you on Monday.
Oh man, I'm telling you, lads, we'll beat Man City. I've got no doubt in my mind.
What are you smoking, brethren?
I'm not smoking anything. I'm just like, hey,
Take me to your dealer, brethren.
all right, listen.
Oh no, there's no pressure on us.
Shit.
No, look, we gotta believe.
guys,
that's the one thing that this manager has got us doing. Is got us believing, and it's got us, feeling positive going into the new season. It's got
optimistic.
us actually thinking, we've got a chance at progressing. I'm not going to put too much pressure on the expectation part of it, but I have to believe that we are going to progress. And whilst that's the aim, that's the remit, at least for this season, is just to get some progress going or get some solid foundation going into the next season. Then we've got to ride with him. We've got to stay with him. We've got to be patient with him. And so far, in my eyes, he's doing a stellar job. In the preseason, from what I've seen of him, is giving everybody a fair crack of the whip. And the only thing that I'm disappointed about is it's not been backed financially enough. And whilst I agree with what you and Kenny Ken said earlier on, that we've never been a big spending club, that's why we're being left behind the curve, because everybody is now on that upward curve of spending big money. Because we might sit down here and say, yeah, Tottenham ain't spending no money, but they know if anybody wants their big assets. Look, Alderweireld Toby has not played for a whole season. Do you know the price tag on this guy? He's not played the whole season. He's been injured the entire time. And they're asking nearly 60 million for this guy. When Mertesacker got injured for a whole season, and then he came back and done that well in that cup final against Chelsea, why did we sell him for 60 million? You know what I mean?
I would take him.
It's like everybody's got these players that's not really doing nothing for them, but they're getting top dollar for them. And the ones that aren't, look, Oxlade right now, he's probably not going to play for the whole season. But I guarantee you, when Liverpool wants to fucking get rid of him, they'll get what they want for him. Because they did that with Suarez. They know how to do that. They know how to do that. Suarez went on strike. They were burning his shirts at that club. And somehow, they turned it around. Well, with our help of £1. They turned it around. Yeah. Because we took the piece out of them. We had to help that situation as well. So they turned it around.
Tottenham are about to sign the first player. Tottenham are about to sign Jack Grealish from Aston Villa.
So a bang average player then. Sounds about right for Tottenham, innit?
Yeah. Have they got him now? They've got him beautiful.
Well, apparently, read here that Jack Grealish will sign for Spurs tomorrow from Matt Scott for substantially more than 20 million. For once, playing hardball had backfired on Daniel Levy, as the people he's dealing with are no longer Tony's years alone. And also, David Ornstein has come out and on BBC Radio 5 Live Sport and has been discussing what's been going on with the situation. And
well, that's convenient. How come he didn't know nothing before all of this came out? Then how come he didn't know about this?
I guarantee you, he knew nothing about it. I guarantee.
That's convenient. He's only talking on 5 Live now. You know what I mean?
He knew nothing. Like
that's what I'm trying to say. Like,
I've been seeing this for fucking months, man. The guy is a fucking puppet, right?
He's a fucking puppet, isn't it? Because if he knows stuff, he would have known about this shit, and this shit didn't just happen overnight. So somebody clearly didn't want him to fucking know. So he don't know everything, or he's not the fucking oracle like he claims to be.
No, he's not. He's not the fucking. He's not the fucking Messiah. He's not the fucking Oracle. He's not fucking Pornstein.
He's just a fucking ITK, just as bad as the plug. They're just as bad as each other.
Like
he's
honestly,
not the plug.
The only journalists, right, that anyone should, well, the only two that anyone should trust are DiMarzio and Fabrizio Romano. That's it.
Yeah, DiMarzio is usually on point. He's usually on the money.
Because the thing is, right, and this is where I'll sort of highlight it. Who called the Aubameyang deal before anybody else?
DiMarzio. He called it in December.
Nope.
Exactly.
He called it at the beginning of January.
I think it was December.
The very beginning of January, right after we played Chelsea, he came out with...
No, it was when we drew 2-2 with Chelsea. The 3rd of January, we played them 2-2.
When we played Chelsea at the beginning of the month...
Be careful, Sam. Colin speaks Italian, you know. He speaks Italian, you know. Be careful, sir. I'll be very careful arguing about Italian with Colin.
Chatting all up. I wish I could speak Italian. It would make my life a whole lot easier.
Oh, my days.
But no. The only guy that you can trust, well, the only two, are DiMarzio and Romano. Anyone else, absolute horseshit. And as far as we go, I don't care what anyone tells me. Jack Grealish does not improve Tottenham.
He doesn't.
He doesn't.
No.
He doesn't.
I personally think he's overrated.
They're no better with or without him. And besides that, signing Jack Grealish, who's bang average, kind of fits well. Because if any of you have noticed, their stadium looks like a toilet seat.
Does Zaha improve them?
Literally.
If anything, it's doing
No. Zaha won't improve them all. No.
They come back into the Premier next season.
Zaha won't improve them all.
No, I think if anything, it's good for Aston Villa in the sense
it doesn't fit their style of play.
The Champions Playoff final.
Yeah. Sam, you're dead on with that. Jack Grealish, right? When he debuted in the Premier League a few years ago, people were like hyping him up as this great player. Has anyone really? Yeah, I don't watch the Championship mainly because I can't be arsed. But has Jack Grealish really kicked on since then? Has anyone like really heard anything like, oh, Jack Grealish had this amazing game, this fucking star-making performance? Has anyone heard anything like that?
Nope. If anything,
I
do watch Villa sometimes because they are a local club to me, and if anything, from what I can tell, he's not Villa's best player. Villa have so many other players that are way better than him. They got the Snodgrasses. They got quite a lot of good players. I can't name them all.
John Terry last season as well.
Yeah, John Terry last season as well. You know, Jack Grealish, for me, in my opinion, doesn't do anything. And when I watched that Championship final last season, he was the reason why they lost because so many opportunities fell to him. He was so greedy. There was one opportunity. All he had to do was hit the ball across the 6-yard box and someone's tapping it home. It's 1-1 and the Villa fans will go nuts. What does he do? He blazes it over the bar.
Yeah,
if that doesn't
my point exactly.
Jack Grealish is sometimes, then I don't know what.
Because like usual, the popularity went to his head, and he's on the best thing since I spent. Look at me, look at me, look at me. But hey,
do you know what Grealish reminds me of? Actually, he reminds me of Bellerin.
He does.
Not
That's
in,
why
not in the same position, but in the terms of, you know, he let the hype get to him, and he took his position for granted.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
And just hasn't kicked on since. The only difference between Bellerin and Grealish is that the club were sensible enough to get Lichtsteiner. Thank fucking God.
A defender that can defend. Yay.
Yeah, a defender that can defend.
And
it's an odd concept, isn't it? Like, it's a strange one. I mean, it's a strange one, isn't it? Like, you wouldn't think of that. A defender who can defend properly.
We'll have that, please.
Yeah, we'll have that. Thank you.
A right back that can read the game.
So, I'm gonna talk in the chat. He did put a question in, and it's a question that I was thinking about as well. I obviously wanted to hear it from you guys as well. Shout out to I'm gonna talk. He said, "What would be the main focus for you this season? You know, going into the new season, what would be the main focus for you? We've not heard anything from you, Mr. Host Ryan. So usually you do a lot of talking in the chat. So you know, what I mean, it's your time to get something out there. Let's hear how you feeling about the season, man. What's your main focus?
Putting today out of the equation, the whole over how you put it, overreaction on social media from our fan base. Before the season, after our first preseason game, I said on my Twitter,
you can't choose your family. You know, this is the fan base you got. You can't choose your family. They ain't going nowhere.
Colin nobody noticed. At the time he was like, "What are you smoking?" I said we'd finish at least third. Top two would be City and Liverpool, but good season for me would be third and a trophy, FA Cup or Europa League, whichever one. If not,
what are you saying?
And literally, that's an improvement from last seasons we had, and then we can build on that the following season. And if we are in the Champions League, we can hopefully have more finance, bigger and better players of quality that will help us improve the season. Because unlike in previous years, we've got a manager now that knows what he wants and how he's going to do it. Not just by any and everyone. He's literally his first summer, and he's gone out and bought everything we needed. We needed a goalkeeper. He's gone and got a goalkeeper. We needed a right back. He's got a centre back. How long have we been saying we need a CDM? And he's gone and got arguably one of the youngest prospects at that position at our club, and then he's gone and bought a gem from France. I can't pronounce his name. Pre-season, he's Guendouzi. He's been literally immense every game I've seen him this season, this pre-season. And then you think of the front line. You think of the front line we've got Özil, who's now he's got no commitment to international side of things. You've got Aubameyang, who scores goals of fun, and him. Like I said, him and Aubameyang got that sort of bond they're building up. It's an exciting season going forward, because we don't know what to expect. I haven't felt this way about Arsenal in a season for over 15 years now. How about yourselves, though?
I mean, I have to admit, before we had a preseason, I done a show with on the Gunnar Talk TV, and Tom did ask us the same kind of question, that and this was before I saw us kick a ball, and I said we were going to finish 7th, but still go for the Europa League. I thought we were going to win the Europa League, but I thought we were going to finish 7th. But I didn't just say that off the whim of, we're going to do badly. I looked at what
for the sake of it.
I looked at what Emre did at Sevilla in the 3 years that he won the Europa League back to back, and he finished 5th, 7th, and 5th respectively. So,
Yeah.
and a part of me thought there will be a time in the season where he will chuck in the league and say, "Fuck the league, we're gonna go for this." And if it doesn't look like, if it looks like the top six is a stiff, very stiff, and the top six is a stiffer competition here in the Premier League than it is in La Liga,
Anywhere else?
anywhere else in Europe. So if it starts to look like that, I have a feeling it'll just jack it in and say, "Listen, and there's nothing that makes me believe, having seen what he's done in the Premier, I mean, in the preseason games now, that leads me to believe he's going to play the young kids in the early part of it. I think he's going to take every single game seriously. I think he's going to play a strong team in every game. Maybe the Carling Cup will probably be the odd one, or the FA Cup, where he will start with the youngest, and then when we get to stronger rounds, then he'll change it. But I think he'll take the Europa League very, very seriously. And, you know, if he can bring it home, which he knows he can, because he's done it more than twice. You know, more than twice. He's the only manager that's won it 3 times in a row. No one else has done it. So you know, you got to give him that that respect, that, you know, he knows what he's doing when it comes to that competition. He's just a manager that realizes the sacrifices you have to make to go on and win that competition. And I believe when it comes to it, is going to make the right choice, the right decision in jacking whatever it is that he needs to jack in to actually go for the prize. He's a man that knows how to keep his eyes on the prize. And I think maybe we'll finish a little bit higher in the table now that I've seen the type of players we've brought in, like you said earlier on, in Guendouzi, with our strike force, Aubameyang, Lacazette, Mkhitaryan, Ozil. Maybe it might be re-energized, having this big hand back with Germany, and it might want to prove a point to the chairman of, you know, everything that happened to him. Let's hope he can use it in a positive way to affect Arsenal in a more positive way. So he's changed my thinking a little bit. And now I think maybe we'll finish 5th. And I'm just being a realist I'm not trying to get into no fantasy world that we're just going to jump into the top 4, because I feel like Wenger has got us addicted to bullshit for 12 years, and Emery is the guy from the rehab that's brought all the rehabilitation process for the fans, the players. That's been addicted to the way Wenger has been, you know, his training methods and his ideology and his philosophy. We need a clean break from it. And it's not a 1-season job. This is a 3-4 year project for me, and to get us to where we really need to get to. And, you know, we really need to give him a chance. And the board, we ain't even got a board no more. The owner has to back him. There's no point talking about the board anymore, you know, because you don't answer to nobody anymore. So yeah, it's all about the owner dipping his hands in his pocket and backing him. So if that happens, I think we'll have a successful 2-3 years. If not, it's going to be oblivion, mate. That's it. Colin?
I think we're going to finish 4th. I mean, I could go back and forth in it for a while, but I mean, I've said 3rd at times, I've said 4th at times, but I think that's where our average position in the league is going to be. Around that area,
even with a serious team in Europa League, if we're still there. Can you clear something up for me, please? Because at some point last season, I heard that the teams that drop out of Champions League wouldn't be able to play in the Europa League this year.
I think that is the case.
Is that the case? Is that still the case?
I think so, yeah.
Because obviously, if that had been the case last season, we would have had Marseille in the cup final and won it. Europa League, Atletico Madrid wouldn't have been able to play in it. So, you know, I hope that's the case. And if that's the case, then we got more of a chance this season than we had last season. if none of those guys that finishing third in their group stages in Champions League starts dropping into Europa League. And I pray to God that's the case. Yeah. But it's something I have to double check. But if Colin says it is,
I think it is.
I'll go with that.
Yeah, like don't take my word for it, mate. Like,
Colin, don't start moonwalking on me now.
I still don't
in the group stage of the Champions, you do go to the Europa League.
I think they're changing this season. Apparently, they might be changing this season.
Yeah, I heard it last season. I'm not sure whether it's kicking off this season or next season, but I know it's supposed to be happening soon. I'm not sure exactly when it's happening. So if anybody in the chat can look it up, or if Colin can look it up real quick while Sam says a couple things, then I'll be happy. I really want to know that whether it's a fact or not.
Yeah. Do you know what? I actually thought about this. I was thinking about this earlier, right? And I'm just rattling things off here. But third or fourth in the league, I think we will finish in there. I think Tottenham will finish below us. And, to all the people that I will trigger with this, Tottenham have gotten stale.
Yeah.
They have.
That's why I said working this.
Jack Grealish doesn't improve their side. I don't care what anyone tells me. And as far as, them still having the core of their squad, if you don't strengthen, you risk falling behind.
Yeah.
Take it from Arsenal fans. We know that better than anyone.
But can I also say, but that's because we had a dinosaur manager that didn't know how to adapt and change situation with in-game management. They've got a coach that's adaptable, that knows how to change and how to fit things around when he needs to.
Than Arsene Wenger.
And that's the difference.
He's no better than Arsene Wenger.
But also,
he's not.
No.
Pochettino's not.
But also, you got to.
He's not better than Arsene Wenger.
Also, you got to remember.
What's he won?
Also, you got to remember. Exactly nothing. Ever.
I'm not trying to. Let's not get it twisted. I'm not trying to big up Poch. I'm just. I see you trying to nail me to the fucking cross there. I had it to save myself like Jesus Christ. I rise from the fucking ashes like a phoenix. God damn it! I see what you're trying to do there. I ain't bigging up Poch, man. Just to let everyone know.
Also, you got to remember on the last season just finished on his after-match interview on Match of the Day and said, "I don't know if I'm going to be here next season. I need to be financially backed by the manager, even though we're moving into this new stadium." And what's that? He hasn't been backed.
So why is he signing?
He must have gone to. He hasn't.
Yeah, why is he signing a new contract for 5 years?
Well, because basically, because if he actually gets a bigger payout than what he would have done if he. What was after his current contract beforehand?
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why, lads. Because it's comfortable at Tottenham. You know how people say it's comfortable at Arsenal. It's comfortable at Tottenham in the terms of it doesn't really matter to them if they win a trophy or not. Which is why they'll always be the gnarly men.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Exactly.
Also, you've got to look at as well. Another reason why I said we'd finish where we'd finish in the league. If the Tottenham situation, take that out of the equation. But then Chelsea, you spent the whole summer going back and forth. Will we sack him? Will we sack? Won't we sack him? Will we? Won't we? Will we? Won't? And they finally hit the nail on the coffin. We've got 3 weeks after the pre-season before the season starts, and now we've got a new guy's coming. He's better. Doesn't want to turn up. Doesn't want to be at the club. His best player, full stop. Eden Hazard has come out and said, "I want to leave," and he's actually. And then again, the owner hasn't been the country, and he's then got to implement his style of play just like that. And he's got one of the biggest games of his first home game in the second week of the season. And you got
Chelsea
Mourinho
fucked
back.
up, man. Chelsea fucked up. They
Yeah.
did. Like, because,
Yeah.
okay, you don't sack Conte at the start or at the end of the season. Okay.
But keep it.
I guess. Okay, fine. You then do eventually get rid of Conte, but then you appoint Sarri with 2 weeks left in the window.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Then you've got the fact of Mourinho as well. He's having a meltdown, having an attack at the ball because they're not finding the place he wants apparently. So you've got
But
all
from your
that.
estimation, Colin, you rate Sarri very, very highly.
Yeah, I do.
I've seen you back him on social media, on Twitter.
Yeah. I don't normally back any other managers, right? Aside from an Arsenal manager, which is obviously why I'm backing him into the fucking hilt. Or like, well, to be fair, I don't really take stock in Milan coaches anymore because Milan are pointing the deadest choices ever.
They have one good run and they sack him.
I know. But the reason why I like Sarri, right, and before anyone compares Sarri to Pochettino, please just shut up. Like I heard.
That's what I saw. That's what I saw on social media. So I thought, yeah, let's give you a chance to clear this shit up.
Mate, I swear, if I was on that show with Shagan Lee the other night, I would have blew my lid. Thank fuck I wasn't on that, I tell you. The reason why I like Sarri, right, and he did what no other coach at Napoli has been able to do. Push Juventus right to the end with outside of Insigne, Martins, and Callahan and Jorginho, who's left now, a fairly average squad. Certainly not one that would push Juventus all the way. And I feel like if Sarri is backed by the Chelsea board, which he's clearly not been, funny that the same problems I saw when Conte was in charge are happening again with Sarri. Yep. And I predicted all of this would happen. All of it. All of it. I said when Conte was appointed that he had to be back financially. He wasn't. He got booted. No. Sarri's not being back financially. How's that going to end, do you think? He's going to get booted. Because Chelsea have no patience.
They got to a point with Conte as well. It's like, with Conte, where he's just had enough. He started saying how it was. Press conferences, it's like, look, it's not me, who I want. And then basically the board aren't backing me because they're getting the likes of Ross fucking Barkley. How's Ross Barkley going to improve a so-called Chelsea squad that's meant to be competing for titles?
Yeah, and that's the thing.
They're then defending champions.
Chelsea's academy is meant, by the way, like the amount of talent they have is ridiculous. Like, Hudson-Odoi, Rick Bellerin, a new one, right? Yeah. Granted, Bellerin positionally was dreadful. Like, I mean, what was that phrase you used?
I thought Bellerin would have needed a surgery after that game there. Like
what was that? What was that saying you used the other night? Something about like smack and whatnot.
Yeah, man. You know, it's like a dealer selling fake smack and good smack on the corner. Like, what? Look, it's like we got inferior goods, and people are bringing inferior money to us, and inferior. That's how I feel they see us. You know, look, everybody that's talking about teams and what, nobody's really talking about us. No. I hear it all the time, and I think it's a dig at Arsenal on purpose. When all these pundits and all these experts, when they're talking about all the top clubs and what they're doing, Nobody's really talking about us.
Yeah.
They're not.
No.
They purposely
On the-
omitting
on
us
the
out of it. And I hope to God that we go out there and surprise a few
Prove them
people,
all
and
wrong.
shock a few people.
Yeah.
Prove them all wrong.
I think we will surprise a few people, Ola, because the thing is, no one knows
Starting
what
on
we're gonna,
Sunday.
no one knows what we're going to play like. Nobody, right? And under the previous manager, right, I liken it to how Liverpool were under Brendan Rodgers.
You knew exactly what it was going to do.
Yep. The big clubs are not too worried about them, not too worried about who they buy. That's the thing. Arsenal is not an easy job now. It's not. Like, Emery's going to need at least 3 years to sort this mess out, right?
That's what I think.
Because
Bills.
like Ola has pointed out several times, not just on my channel, not just on Cheg's channel, not just on Tom's channel, we are the Santa Claus of the Premier League and have been for a long time. In fact,
Fucking time.
correct me if I'm wrong, Ola, but it's been since the cup final against Birmingham, I believe.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Right there.
That's when I gave up. That's when I gave up with Wenger.
I mean,
Exactly.
it's been a long time habit, and that's what I'm trying to say. Like, it's not a habit that we're gonna kick just like that.
No.
And you know, it's almost it's almost like an impossible job, because I feel if Emery isn't doing nothing in 18 months to change the mindset of the players, to get the fans on side in terms of performances and everything else, do we think Kroenke might now get the itchy finger? Now he has 100% of the club at the time. Will he get itchy fingers?
To be
Because
honest,
if the money is not really coming in,
I don't really think Kroenke gives a crap about that, if I'm honest. Like, if anyone's going to be doing the booting of future managers, it would most likely be it would most likely be Josh.
Yeah,
because
Josh and I come together.
When I said Kroenke, I didn't say Stan. I just said Kroenke.
Oh, okay.
So we lock Josh and Stan in as one.
No basis.
I didn't say Stan.
Oh man, Jesus.
So yeah, we're in for a long one. Anyway, guys, I got like 5 minutes because my missus wants to watch EastEnders and all of that, and I've been holding up the front row for a minute. So
I'm just going to do one more questions in the chat at the moment from Ali D again.
Yes, big up Ali D. Been in the show from the beginning, man, right from the start. So shout out to Ali D.
Yeah,
big up my brethren.
Does anyone believe there's any more incomings in this transfer 5 o'clock? And if so, who?
Yes. I believe there's at least 2 more coming in. 2 more coming in my opinion. And you might think, oh, you must be crazy, Sam, saying 2 more. Well, number one, Callum Chambers, right? As much as you guys disagree with me, one of the best defenders we have at Arsenal, right? It's debatable. I know you guys can never go at me for it, but hear me out on this. We would not send him on loan if we made him sign a new contract and he's one of the best defenders. So he must mean a big name players coming in. And number 2, Danny Welbeck could be on his way to Southampton. Everton have bought Bernard in, and Welbeck's been told he can find a new club. So if we do sell Welbeck, we'll have to get someone in to replace him. And I know you might think, Sam, that's a long shot. There's no way it could happen if we've got no money or any of that stuff left. But I still think, right, if we do get him in, Ousmane Dembele, it'll be on a 2-year loan deal with an option to buy. And if we do get rid of El Neni, I think we'll bring in Steven Nzonzi. So I think maybe possibility to 1 to 2 more signings. But I do believe there's incomings, but our number I think is 1 to 2. So yeah.
The way I see it happening it all depends on timing. Like we have to get rid of certain players because of the amount of wages they're taking up, and I think that's why we've not progressed with the Dembele deal just yet. I do think there is something in that. I do. The Vida thing definitely. The Vida deal definitely has legs. That has legs. The only reason we're stalling on that again is because of the wages, right? I think Vida will come in once we clear up that. He won't be on big money. He won't be. And I think we'll get Dembele in on loan, and it's likely to be with an option to buy as well. And this might be controversial, but I don't think we need Nzonzi personally.
Are you still doing?
Nearly finished.
Huh?
Nearly finished.
That's just my view on it. That's the way I say it.
Okay. I would say we've got one more signing at least. One more signing. You're getting a tongue lashing there, Ryan.
It's my brother.
Yeah.
My younger brother coming in. Like, what's he doing on it?
I know how he feels. so yeah, I think we definitely got one more signing coming in. I think it's going to be a big one because with this mad news of Kroenke doing what he's doing, they've got to do something to appease the fans. It's like a sacrificial lamb, and they have to. It's like, remember when we signed Lacazette, and they gave us the whole Mbappe talk and the whole we're going to spend 90 million on Mbappe. They gave us all that big talk, but eventually they just had to give us a signing that would just keep the fans and say, you know what, all right, yeah, and say, all right, we can live with this guy. Yeah, you've got in Lacazette, we can live with him. We're happy with that. Let's go. So I think it's gonna be something similar along the lines of even though you said we don't need Nzonzi, Emirates seems to think he needs him because for some reason we've been linked with him forever. We definitely need a centre back. I still think we need that. More importantly, I think we need a winger more than anything else. We definitely need the winger. We need it so badly because of our creativity, and it will improve or give us more range of options in terms of tactical change during a game, you know, when we're actually in game mode. Because Emery, as is demonstrated in the preseasons, he shows he can switch things up while the game is happening. And I like that a lot about him. He actually shows he's there, he's on clock with what's going on. And any manager that's demonstrating that type of behavior for me is right up there. And you know, we need that winger. We need it so bad. Whether we're gonna get it, I don't know. Whether we're gonna get the marquee one that we need, I don't know. We've got a few days to deadline day. I'm sure everybody's gonna be losing their mind come 5 o'clock when all the businesses is happening, and Arsenal is being Arsenal on deadline day. And nothing shows up at the Emirates. I'm just saying. I'm just doing your job for you, Colin, because usually you're the one saying shit like this. So I don't know where the old Colin is gone, but I kind of want him back.
You want the guy who's been called that guy? Well, I love me.
You know I love you, Colin, man. You know, I mean, it's all love, brother. It's all love.
To be fair, it's always good, like when like you're around and whatnot, because it's always like banter when you're around that.
Yeah, man, of course.
I don't know what I do at you, to be honest. I'd be a miserable fucker.
Yeah, Yeah, man, respect that, man. Respect that. Now, people, I've definitely got to dip
Oh,
out.
dude.
Ryan, thanks for inviting me. I know you've pulled some strings to try and get us on the show today. You know, it's not been an easy schedule for me, but I had to make time for this, man. And thanks for bringing me on your platform. I
So
really appreciate that.
I appreciate it anyway.
All right, man.
Hope to have you back
And
on.
Sam,
Hope to have you back on
you
first
know
season.
we're gonna be talking on your Snapchat madness, yeah. Don't worry, man. I'm there, man. Watching all the madness you're dealing with
You
on
have a
there, brother.
kiki challenge.
Yeah, you crazy, man. You know that shit is illegal now, yeah? You know,
Yeah.
did you hear about that shit being illegal? That shit is illegal. People are getting hit by
Yeah,
cars.
but
People
I
are
did
getting
jump
hit
out
by
of car.
ball in the face. All types of shit's going on.
Yeah, but I didn't jump out of car or anything. I just walked
Oh,
across the thing, and someone was recording it. That's it.
You are crazy, man. Fuck it up. Anyways,
I'm a magic
people,
white dancing.
I'm gonna love you and leave you, and we're gonna talk on Twitter and social media and wherever else that we usually meet.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Hopefully, man.
Nice one, yeah.
What?
Right.
Cheers. Have you on again soon, mate.
Peace.
So, dinner free.
Yeah. Anyway, lads, I'm gonna shit off as well. I got some shit to take care of, but otherwise, nice hanging out with you lads and whatnot. And you know, Sam, go easy on the fucking Snapchat deal, all right? You know what I'm talking about. Don't tell
Things
me.
I do as well.
Yeah, bruv. You know it's the Bullet Club shot, innit?
Yeah.
You know this.
It's actually a Bullet Club today, but no.
Oh dear.
Anyway, I'll see you guys in a bit.
All right. Thanks again, Colin. I'll see everyone join the season at some point.
I would definitely will. I'll be there at some point. I don't know when, but I'll figure something out.
Yeah, we'll work it out because obviously you clash with your show and all that.
Yeah, exactly.
Where can people find you as well? Plan for your show, your channel.
Oh boy, have I got some shit planned. I'm not gonna reveal it here, but trust me, big shit happening. Right, trust.
I'll be putting a link to everyone's YouTube channels and Twitters in the description afterwards. Anyway.
Yeah, that's fun. Anyway, I'll speak to you guys later. All right.
See you there, Colin.
Cheers, Colin.
And yeah, Ryan, I'm the last one here. Thank you so much for letting me come on here today. Today, I'm not even at Birmingham. I'm in Liverpool today. You know.
You told me, and I've seen your Snapchat again, so and Instagram
and
as well.
Like, I'm in a hotel room. I'm in a hotel room, and I'm doing the podcast. Because I came back from Pleasure Beach early, so I thought, you know what, I'll jump on the podcast as soon as it starts. And you know what, you've had a long list of good people today. You had Kenny, Ken. You've had you know Ola. You've had James. You've had.
Colin
well,
and
me as well.
yourself.
It's great to be on your platform. It's absolutely great, and hopefully I can jump on again sometime this season as well.
Well, you on again next week with James as it stands, unless anything comes up, obviously, for the Man City review.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll jump on that as well.
Yeah. I'll DM you when you're near the time just to confirm anything comes up. You can say. So yeah, thank you for coming on anyway.
Good night, Ryan.
So yeah, that was it. I'm going to wrap it up now. So yeah, that's the season preview. Now we've got to look forward to the season ahead. Exciting from Sunday. And I've got a feeling we're going to get the result because the pressure's not on us. We always perform when the pressure's not on us. Right, until then, I'll sign off now. If you like what you see, leave a like, subscribe, hit the notification button so you don't miss any of the upcoming shows. And I'll see you then.